The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning, I'm Ellen Haan.
It's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg, 63 degrees and going up to 64 maybe. Boy,
it's very cloudy, and,
yeah, it's very cloudy.
They're saying a little rain and
rain
probably
is
a front
in
coming
order,
in.
for sure.
And,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful here.
It is. It's the nicest, coolest winter we've had in quite a number of years.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind people of our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic cell-ready liquid ingredients, so it's easy to take. This is all powered by fulvic and humic acid, which get the good stuff in.
And let the bad stuff out.
And remind you also of our Health Signals newsletter. This $10 a month gets you all the news that we talk about on the show. So all the articles we talk about are in here. And the Primal Edge, of course, is $89 on a monthly.
Delivered to your door every month.
That's right. And today, it's a beautiful day.
And you can reach us at 877-927-6648 if you're up and about and feel like chatting for a minute.
Thanks, baby.
Give us a call.
I always forget that number, you know. Too many things going on here. Today, suggestion of you want to talk about...
well, there's been so much going on in the world, and even not just recently, but it's been going on for quite a few years, and I know I don't watch the news at all because mostly the news is people talking about people talking about people talking. So it's like I have my own opinion. I don't need yours. You know? But there have been some events lately. The election was something that I followed, but not every minute, and then whatever. But the point is that people, when there's difficult news, bad news, confrontational news, and it seems like a lot of the news is the negative rather than the positive.
Well, it's breaking news always.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I
that
think
gets
it's
old.
broken news.
I think you're right there. But this is a good subject, how to talk to your child about the news, about anything that's troubling them, certainly. I think it's an important thing.
And certainly in today's world, there are lots of things to be concerned about and lots of things that trouble children. And we've talked in the past about how concerned we are about children coming through this whole event and feeling comfortable back in society, and whether it will have a lasting effect on them and so on.
It's definitely having a lasting effect. Of course, many may not be in school again, you know, so there's a lot of things going on that is unusual. This is an article from kidshealth.org, and it really is talking about, first thing that they want you to do is find out what your child already knows.
Right.
Ask your children questions to see if they know about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and don't assume that because you haven't been discussing it, the children don't hear about it from other children. Other people are discussing it, other people are reacting to it differently, and the kids absorb that. And
it's a lot different than it was when we were children, because we didn't have the social media. We just relied on other kids and our parents, basically.
Yeah, and
didn't really watch the news except maybe at 6:30, the half hour.
Stations.
Yeah. In Canada, we had one, so you guys were lucky.
Whoa, we were privileged.
Oh, yeah, you certainly were. So the second thing is consider your child's age and development. Younger kids may be not able to grasp the difference between fact and fantasy, and I think a lot of people don't have
adults are in that
same thing,
predicament, but, okay. And then follow your child's lead. If your child doesn't seem to be interested in an event, or doesn't want to talk about it at the moment, don't push. But don't assume that it's not on their mind.
Right.
Even if they're not interested in talking, they don't act like it's on
Well,
their
there's some children that just yak, and they open their heart, and there are other children that just don't say anything. I was always a child that kept everything in. I'll just listen and I don't know what I did, really. You know, I'm here, so I managed pretty good, I guess. But, you know, it's just something that didn't want to get involved with anything like that we're talking about, anything bad or anything. So I just listened, basically.
Well, and you know, as an adult, if a person's way of coping is kind of ignoring it or walking away from it, that carries forward into adulthood. And then it makes a person less adaptable and less able to deal with change and less able to deal with any kind of adversity. So there is something to be said for facing and dealing with and talking about what's going on so that a person can, in fact, adapt and learn the skills necessary to get through life.
Yeah.
You know. Now, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, the second part of this was answer questions honestly and briefly. You know, tell the truth, but share only as much as the child needs to know. That's always been the case, I think. I remember when bad things happened that we got part of it as much as, you know, information as they felt we needed.
Yeah, and it's. I think the key is to try and calm a child's fears and to try and help them feel safe. And that, I think, is the biggest thing. I know when talking to our friends who have younger children who were worried about going out or worried about their friends or their neighbors being out and about, and, you know, calming the fears is done by having a conversation, by reassuring. And one of the things that was in the article, and another article we were looking at, was the concept of saying, you know, we will never leave you. We're here for you. Well, I think saying we'll never leave you is probably not a good idea. but saying we're here. Yeah. Our goal, you know, our job is to keep you safe as best we can, and to take care of you, and that's what we're going to do. And we love you, and you know, we encourage you to talk. Tell us what's on your mind.
And it says here, well, first listen carefully. Of course, if your children are talking, you need to be listening to what they're saying. But after that, it's okay to say, well, I don't really know the answer to that if they're asking questions.
But I'll find out.
But I'll find out, and you want to be honest with the child for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that the children are worried about is, can that happen to me? You know, could that happen in our town? Could that happen in our school, or, you know, whatever? Right. And so you want to talk about. You want to really listen and not only hear what the words are, but what's between the words.
Yeah, and hopefully along the line, I mean, our kids are in their 50s, so, you know, we've gone through that earlier, but now if your child is in teens or even adolescence, now you really want to prepare them for things, but at the same time, you don't want them to panic. You want them to maybe discover some of the stuff on their own, looking up things so they can get the facts. Old. Yeah, it really makes a difference on a whole, but you want the kids to feel like they're in some kind of control method.
They can make some decisions.
Yeah.
And also you can talk about being prepared. You know, if it's a natural disaster, if we're talking about earthquakes or volcanic eruptions or things like that, you know, you can talk about fires, forest fires that were going on. You know, you can talk about, well, what would we do if we had to, you know, evacuate, what would you put in your go pack? Right. You know, where would we go? So, you know, and we'll continue this conversation as soon as we get back.
Right back, folks.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
And welcome back. And we're talking about how to deal with your children during these COVID times. And I reflect.
No, any kind of crisis.
Yeah, really, any kind of crisis. You're right. And I go back to my childhood, and we didn't have much worries. It was all about freedom. It was all about playing and getting along with people. And we certainly didn't have the social media and the news going on 24 hours a day. And we didn't discuss it in school because then nothing was really going on at that time. The world has certainly changed.
Yeah.
So now we definitely have to address this, and encouraging your children to talk and urge your children to look beyond the stories, teach your children to be prepared and not panic. This all seems like a normal thing to do.
Let me back up just a minute to touch a little bit more on these topics. Encouraging your child to talk. Do not assume that your child is not aware of what's going on or aware that something is going on, because the minute that breaking news hits the airways, or your iPad or your phone alert or whatever, you're going to react as an adult.
Yeah.
And the kids absorb everything that you say, think, or do. And any reaction you have, if tension arises in the house, they know it.
Yeah.
And so you may need to introduce the topic to your child because they're seeing that something is going on.
Yeah.
And so that's important. And then the older children, this gives you an opportunity to open up a conversation on a much more meaningful level, on a broader level, about anything, about the way the country is run, about the way that climate works, about what to do in case of an emergency, about any of that kind of, because there's an important distinction between history and toxicity. That letting things into your home, you want to be aware. You want to understand the history that's going on around you. By the same token, you don't want to have it on 24/7 so that it's flooding the house with negative energy.
Yeah, and that comes to the subject, limiting your exposure to the news. Decide. Go ahead. Decide what and when and how much news is good for your child. Probably not a good idea to have a TV on all the time.
No, especially not to, because and of course, the issue is how the news having one point of view or another, and it's not, there's...
Well, a lot of it is in news. That half-hour news we used to have when we were kids is about all the news we get. That half hour.
Right.
We still get
Out
that
of
half
24.
hour. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But there's an interesting thing here, too, about what you can do to help. you know, when the forest fires are going on, or there's floods, or any of that sort of thing, you know, what can we do? Can we collect, you know, clothes to give to the people whose houses burned down? Can we do what can we do to help?
In other words, keep the kids busy with other things.
Well, keep the
things
kids
of
busy
your choosing,
with positive and constructive things, and focus the energy more on dealing with it and finding positive ways to deal with it. And I think that's really important. And also, you need to put stories in context, because the kids have to understand, yes, there's a lot of information available on the internet and on social media and on TV, but you have to, as a consumer, be a little bit more discriminating and understand there's 2 points of view, there's 5 points of view. You know, take a look at things. It's like what we do at the show. We give you the articles so then you can read them and make your own decisions and do some more research.
Yeah, and with children, you really have to limit what you want them to not see, too. There's no doubt about it, especially with TV. And that's, I guess, mainly what we're talking about is the TV and movies and things like that. And I think it's probably harder, since they have these devices, you have to limit the devices.
And you also have to assume that other kids are going to be having more access than your kids do, and will share their information or their understanding of the information. And so that's why you have to keep talking to your children and keep looking. But there's also an interesting conversation to be had about, how do you know if your child is having a problem? You know, what are the signs? What should we be looking for? And there's the second article that we had that talks about disasters and scary events helping children cope.
Yeah.
They're saying, you know...
well, some of the things that, you know, we want to stick to routines is one of the things, but at the same time, you want to allow some differences. Maybe leave the light on while they sleep, which you didn't do before. Respond quickly to nightmares instead of just letting them go through it. Give extra hugs and reassurances. Stay close to them as they fall asleep. Let them know where you are or where you will be.
You know, in other words, well, it's a combination of sticking to routines and setting up new routines if necessary, but also you have to be on the lookout for changes in mood with the children, how your child acts if they start acting out. You can talk to them about if their friends are talking about something that makes them uncomfortable, how to deal with that. And these are all things that you need to do as an adult as well. I mean, you know, some of the things people are saying to each other on social media is kind of sad. Yeah,
something you probably wouldn't say face to face, and that's the real danger. You know, it's like sending an anonymous letter type of thing almost, even though it's not anonymous. But it's, you know, another thing in the article here says take good care of yourself, be aware of your own feelings, talk with your friends, family, and colleagues, and develop a plan to manage your own feelings. In other words, exercise, take a sauna, de-stress somehow, have a drink if you need to, don't have too many, you know, that type of thing.
Just, you know, because if you aren't able to cope, your children will not be able to at all, and you won't be able to help them.
No, because you're in lead.
Or even you won't be able to help your partner, or your friends, or your family in general, you know, if you're not on top of how you're feeling.
And as time passes, watch for the delayed stress. Even if your child does well after the event, there may be some delayed stress weeks later. As adults go into their routines, children start to have thoughts about the stuff they see on TV, recalling their parents' anxiety, things like that.
Yeah, and worrying about what could happen to them. Yeah, it's look for signs of anxiety, such as not wanting to be away from you or other caregivers, not wanting to go to school, not wanting to leave the house, having trouble going to sleep at night.
And this is things that the parents have too, naturally.
Well, sure.
So it's passed on.
So it's important to talk, you know, if you're by yourself in the house, you also need to reach out and talk to somebody else about this stuff too. And, you know, maybe do it with your friends on Facebook, but at least have someone that you can, find somebody in your tribe that you can talk to, and don't keep it in. It's a natural thing to be a little concerned and a little worried and a little anxious when things happen. And just reminding yourself that you've gotten through all of this stuff before, and you'll get through it again, and you're doing fine. And it's just a matter of absorbing and processing and then choosing a positive attitude on the other side.
There's nothing wrong with telling your children, here's how I deal with things. I take a sauna, I do some exercise, I'll maybe do a puzzle, maybe I'll do a crossword puzzle of some kind, or sit down with a big puzzle. Those are always fun, just to get your mind occupied on something that isn't now.
Read a book, and the other thing is, you just remember, if your child's not talking about it, and it's in your home and you're thinking about it, be aware of that and initiate some conversation and see if you can just...
and play games. Games are always fun and take your mind off things. So we'll be right back. No games here, babe.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We've been talking about dealing with any kinds of stresses and news and adventures in life with children. And just to wrap that up, it's not just the external things that are going on in the world that can come into a household and create tension and fear among the children. If parents are worried about money, if they're worried about a job, or they know someone who loses a job and they have a conversation about that, questioning life values, maybe that one of the parents has to go into the military service or is in the military service. Children overhear these conversations. They don't understand them necessarily, but they can become anxious if there's anxiety in the household. So be mindful of that as well as the external influences and have conversations.
And today it seems like all those little things are piling up, one thing after another, and all of them are in play, perhaps.
Could be.
So when you brought this subject up to me, I thought, yeah, this is really interesting and certainly good talk, but I always want to go back and see what our ancestors did. So I got a couple of articles here. One is from Psychology Today. It was calling Raising Baby Hunter and Gatherer Style. Now, the way we raise children today in this country is increasingly depriving them of practices that led to their well-being and moral sense. If only modern parents could follow our ancestors' lead.
That's what the article starts with.
Yeah, and here are some of the characteristics of childbearing identified by Darcia Narvaez. That were common to our distant ancestors. The first thing is lots of positive touch and no spanking, or nearly none, but nearly always constant carrying, cuddling, and holding.
Yeah, and today obviously we don't beat our children, and it's called child abuse. Mm-hmm. But it's very hard in this society to hold to that because you're just not there.
That is the thing. Well, the interesting part, nearly constant carrying and cuddling and holding seems to make the case for having only one child or spacing the children at least 3 years apart to ensure the infants and toddlers get the closeness that makes them feel secure.
Yeah, no matter what we've read, everything points to the fact that physical contact is very important, particularly when they're babies and toddlers.
Yeah, so the breastfeeding becomes highly, highly important. Our ancestors also used to sleep with the children very close, naked in bed, so the skins were touching and things like that. So, it's completely opposite of what we do today, although I'm sure there's some parents out there. I know some people personally that have a sleep room where everybody goes to sleep in one room. Mm-hmm. So those are hearkening back to the way we used to live. And a lot of this stuff may seem odd to us now in our society.
Just understanding that your children need a certain amount of physical comforting. I remember when I taught junior kindergarten, sometimes a child gets a little out of their body with stress or carried away with their emotions, mm-hmm. and they don't know how to express it. And so sometimes I would just touch the child or let the child be right next to me, and always being mindful of personal space and mm-hmm. so on. And that seems to bring a person back into their bodies. And especially when they're young and they're not able to verbally express what's going on in their minds, and they're frustrated or they're upset or they're angry or they're fearful.
Well, that goes to what they determine prompts response to the baby's fussing and cryings. They say that you can't spoil a baby. This means that meeting a child's needs before they get upset, and the brain is flooded with these toxic chemicals, which is what happens. So warm, responsive care, giving like this keeps the child's brain calm in the years where it's forming its personality and response to the world. So this is really key, that first year of touching and breastfeeding, and then beyond that, of course.
Well, they're talking about responding when a child cries, and mm-hmm. For some number of years in the immediate past, there's been let the child cry, it's good for them, don't respond immediately, and
it's the only response they have right now.
Well,
in a sense.
Everything we're reading is saying respond.
Yeah.
Respond to the child, and first, of course, you check. Do they need a diaper change? Are they hungry? Are they in pain? Is something poking them? Are they in physical distress, medically?
Crying demands a response of some kind. That's the way I see it, and that's the way they're talking about it here. So I think that's really important.
And just holding a child and calming a child and saying it's okay, cry. It's okay to cry. That's the other thing. Yeah. Because if we don't teach someone to cry, they're their empathy levels are impaired as well.
Yeah, it's just here, quick response time is difficult when you have other very young children around that need your attention. On the other hand, don't worry about spoiling the infant when they need you. So there's two sides to that story.
Right. And I think the point is that picking up a child and helping them become calm before they get into the red face, sweating, screaming, flailing limbs stage is very important.
Another step here is breastfeeding, ideally 2 to 5 years, and that, of course, has gone by the wayside. Mostly, I was lucky. I had 2 years of breastfeeding, and that was probably because of the war.
Yeah.
I remember the story. Yeah. My dad had to drive 20 miles on his bicycle to get milk every morning from a farmer that was also in the underground. So my dad valued his friends for sure. It says here, I don't see American mothers breastfeeding their 4 or 5 year olds, and probably not even their 3-year-olds. And that's really part of our culture, is not doing it. And not breastfeeding at all is part of the culture too, which I think is probably not good for the child.
And a lot of people who are not breastfed have grown up to be good, contributing,
of course,
balanced
no doubt
adults.
about it. Sure.
So, but again, you know, were your parents cuddlers? Were they not? I mean, not everybody is. And so children, it's hard when you grow up without that hugging. And
yeah, my mother wasn't a big hugger as I got older. My dad was always the hugger. My mother was kind of the more elusive, but did hug me.
Yeah, well, my mother was, she loved all of us. She expressed it differently. My dad was a little bit warmer in terms of expression, but he was distant otherwise. You know, that was my experience of it. So it's, but one of the things they talk about a lot is alloparenting, and that's the concept of more expanded circle of caregivers.
Sure.
You know, maybe relatives, maybe sitters or nannies or preschool teachers.
If we're looking at the past, we can see that happening very easily in a tribe because you're all there. And I remember when we moved to Canada from Holland, all the cousins and everything came afterwards, and we certainly were living in the same neighborhood for a long time, but slowly but surely we Americanized or Canadianized and moved far away. We moved far away for jobs, for school, just about any reason we move away these days. Opportunity.
Mostly, but you grew up with your cousins.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't live near the cousins, but we saw them a couple times a year, and I knew my cousins, you know, my first cousin. As I became an adult, I met my second and third cousins.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
we'll continue this when we get back. In the meantime, folks, pick up our Primal Edge and our one-shot one. Yeah.
Our health.
Yeah.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and a Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
So raising your child these days is a lot different than the hunter and gatherer style of our ancestors, but we do a lot of things the same way. We have multiple adult caregivers. We have our family, but outside of the family, we look for somebody in the neighborhood, somebody that's usually a school age or something like that the kid can relate to a little bit more than an adult. I always thought that kids really don't respect adults that much. They respect the kid that's 2 years older. Families are scattered nowadays, so it becomes more of a problem, but I think we've solved a lot of that with daycare, with people who do care about children, and this is, as a parent, it's your job to find those people.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's quite a bit of studies being done about current hunter-gatherer type tribes and societies all around the world, and they talk about that the children can go to any adult in the group if they need something, and all the adults understand that it's part of their responsibilities to keep an eye on the kids. Now that doesn't mean they keep the kids right next to them. The kids can go off.
They're
and
just
play,
available,
but they're there, and the kids eat wherever they eat, and it doesn't have to be with their immediate family. I thought about that when I was reading it and thinking, can you imagine if you had gone across the street or around a block to go eat dinner every night, because you didn't like your mom's cooking.
We would have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah. It just doesn't work so well. Now, if you have family in the area, getting the family together for dinner, that kind of thing is important. It's important that the children feel that they're connected to the tribe.
Yeah, and there seems like there's less structure. They don't structure things, but the way I think of it, the tribe is already structured. So the whole system is structured to support those children and the toddlers and everything else. So they don't need to structure things for the children. They let them do pretty much what they want to do. They protect them naturally. There's a lot of tribes even that have burn marks on them as they get older because they just allow their children to play with the fire. And if
play with the fire, but not. They don't say don't touch, it's too hot.
No, they don't do anything.
They learn the hard way.
My way would be I'd take my child's hand slowly towards it and let him feel the heat increasing, not let him burn. But everybody's a little different, so that's a different tribe.
A different tribe. The point is that your tribe is not necessarily the people in your city. The tribe is whoever you choose to be a part of your daily life or your regular life. And the children should know, adults and children
Yeah, and we should know other tribes. I have a tribe with jiu-jitsu. We have our tribe of our friends. We have our tribe here at TFNN. You have your tribe at in Hamilton, and certainly all the charity work that you do. That's another tribe, and it all comes together in a nice, good feeling because
and
you go from
synergy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you have your tribe here, but you have other tribes that you visit too. Nice, I like it.
Yeah, my tribe includes my students and the people that I have come in contact with. You know, you have to, it's a way to create a secure environment and a nurturing environment and a supportive environment and a foundation for a healthy adult.
Now I have another article here with from Jared. What's his last name again? Jared Diamond, I think it is. Yeah, I've read quite a few of his books, and he has a book here that's called "The World Until Yesterday."
What can we learn from traditional societies? And it's really, it's interesting because he talks about in American history, the one-room schoolroom. Where because the town was small, the kids, there were one or two of a different age, and they had to all be in the same room. They couldn't afford a big school and only one teacher, and everybody learned in the same room, and the older kids helped the younger kids.
Yeah, take a look at this picture here, because this gives you a good indication of what's happening in our society. The child here with the hunter and gatherer is facing the adult, when the child in the stroller is facing out towards the world and doesn't see the parent.
No, but they talk about that as being important because they say the child should have the same point of view as the parent does. So if you're on a walk with a child, and the child should be facing forward and sitting up.
That's a modern way of thinking. The older way of thinking is that they should be in touch with the adult and always looking at the adult.
You know, having a child on your back like that, the child is facing the way you're facing.
Yes, but they're also facing you, and that's the important part. A lot of cultures have the baby in front, and the baby will be facing forward or facing towards the adult.
Yeah, initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas the child is.
And it makes sense because the breast is very close and things like that. So as they get older, you're right on the back. So they still see the adult, but they also see what the adult sees.
Where you're going.
It's a good point. Yes.
And you know, how many times have you commented to me that we've driven by somebody, a mom who's walking the baby, you know, in a stroller, or even in an upright type situation, and or in a carriage where they're lying flat and they're not seeing anything.
Well, they're also, you know,
and they're on the phone. They're not interacting with the child at all.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing is too, we talked before about sleeping together. You know, everybody in one room, and that allows a lot of skin contact, and that they say they're really, really important. And this tribe is called Kung, I believe, Ikung, or.
Well, it's a.
Yeah, it's a exclamation point of some kind. But they, for the first year of their life, they have skin-to-skin contact with a mother or another caregiver about 90% of the time. The child begins to separate more frequently from its mother at the age of about 1.5, but those separations are initiated almost entirely by the child itself in order to play with other children. The daily contact between the child and the caregivers
other than the mother
exceed contact time from that we experience here.
From current Western civilization, right?
One of the most common Western practices is the stroller, which provides no physical contact between the baby. So some strollers do have it facing towards.
Yeah, a stroller by nature has your child facing forward, but if the child's pushed all the way back, they're kind of looking up at the sky.
But in the beginning, with the cradle type of thing, they used to be facing you in the beginning too. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, with the carriage.
Yeah, with the carriage.
Yeah, but then, you know, we have a cover on the carriage the child can't see, you know, and can't even see the sky. So it's kind of
Yeah.
I don't know, give the baby some fresh air.
One of the biggest difference I see in reading these articles is the skin-to-skin contact and the contact of the relatives and everybody, you know, being involved in it. So the child has nothing but no fear in it at all because it's being taken care of and it feels very, very safe.
Secure.
Yeah, and I think that's an important part. So as these children get older and older, they're much more stable than Western societies because of that, I believe.
Well, they understand their place in the tribe, and they understand that they're part of the tribe. And you know, the Western civilization is wonderful in so many ways.
Certainly is.
And we are, to some extent, isolated. And you don't feel as much connection to humanity and to your fellow human beings. And I think that's one of the things that they're finding now, the lack of empathy and connection.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for a while.
That's for sure. Okay, in the meantime, folks, please pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder. $89 brings it to your door every day. And of course, every month, yes. And twice a month, you can get the Living a Primal Lifestyle Health Signals. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
So it's interesting, this book, Jared Diamond, The World Until Yesterday, what we can learn from traditional societies. And it's a good thing, I think, to reflect on the differences between small-scale societies and the state societies that we now have. You know, people live in different areas. There's the differences between farmers and urban poor people and the urban middle class and upper class. And there's differences from generation to generation. We figure these things out, and I think we will.
What's interesting, too, is because the state has a very significant vested interest in how its citizens turn out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there is some guidance, some framework for the way children are raised that's imposed from the outside or encouraged from the outside. But it's interesting here, he says, you know, there are some child-rearing practices that could fit very nicely into modern state societies. We can transport our infants vertically upright and facing forward instead of lying down horizontally in a carriage or vertically, but facing backward in a pack. We could respond quickly and consistently to an infant's crying. We can practice more extensive alloparenting, and we can have more physical contact between infants and caregivers. We can encourage self-play instead of buying all these educational toys, and you know, let children be imaginative, and you know, just put the pots and pans or the boxes out and let children, or the blocks.
The most fun we always did with kids when we had no toys, we made up our own. We played war, cowboys and Indians out in the fields, and we were always outside inventing things and coming up with our imaginations. It was a wonderful thing.
I still have this box of blocks that we played with, and it's just, it was so much fun. And there's lots of ways. Kids are so imaginative and so creative, and you know. But I think the point of this whole show has been to talk to your children, hold your children, and talk to your adults and hold your adults as well.
Definitely.
You know, be available to people, be able to hear what they're saying, listen, be willing to listen.
Hug each other.
Encourage people, and be supportive of each other.
Yep. So that's the show for today.
Out.
Peace. Be safe, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Be well.